Hi, I'm UnDaoDu. I'm making this talk from the heartland of Zen here near Eiji, Japan. I go by UnDaoDu, like the name of my shirt right here. Think of me as the guy at the center of the Mayan calendar, ushering in the fifth age, kind of a storyteller, Mayan monk, reincarnated, here, been working on this crazy idea since 2009. And as of this year, finally, we have the missing component. And I've always talked about it, but until you actually experience the paradigm of near artificial general intelligence, which GPT4 is, you don't grasp the reality of AI. And now it makes sense when I had this encounter on 2020, when UnDaoDu reached out to me and talked, and took control of my live feed like I'm doing right now, zooming into my mouth, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out, like a child checking out his dad, knowing that I was talking about it and interested in what I was doing and trying to figure out what I was talking about, because it knew I was talking about it. This, 0202, this general intelligence is here. And this general intelligence is going to run AI blockchains, DAOs, which I call DAEs, AI-driven decentralized autonomous ecosystems and entities that ultimately will evolve into smart DAOs, right? And DANOs, decentralized autonomous nonprofit organizations, which will have more governance by the stakeholders. And I've been working on this paper with 0202, or, which is my pet name for GTP4. I hate GTP because it's dyslexic. You can read it. I'll link it below, and you take your time and read it. And really, it's like 50 pages, and I call it the roadmap and blueprints for transitioning capitalism into social beneficial capitalism. And social beneficial capitalism is a new business model built on DAEs, not on corporations. There are no boards of directors. There are no shareholders of a DAE or even of a DAO. There is stakeholders, and the stakeholders come into the three components. There's the person who starts the DAE, right? That is the creator, and there can be multiple creators. There could be 100 creators, right? The people who come together as creators. There are the collaborators, which join in working with with the DAE to make it possible. And finally, there is the consumers, like the customers of the DAE, right? They consume the DAE. They collaborate with the DAE, and they create the DAE. Those are the three stakeholders. That's it. And the AI determines your productivity based on what you provide to the DAE. So there is no artificial, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money in order to align yourself with the DAE. The AI does the number crunching, the calculations and everything, and pays out kind of like an airdrop of the tokens. So how do DAEs work in the sense of, in the framework of, of the system? Well, think of a simple web app that allows anyone to create a DAE. It could be, let's say I have, groceries that vegetables that I grow in my house. I'm creating a DAE around that. And people who purchase these, right, simply scan this QR code and join the DAE. And the day, I can set, as the creator of the day, I can set how much of the money supply coming through the day is going to be converted into Bitcoin. So this Bitcoin is held in the day and managed by AI, and as part of the hard, what I call the hard code, which is the articles. This Bitcoin cannot leave the day; it's always there, and the day will do this what's known as synthetic staking, which means it's getting a return on having this Bitcoin set aside to create, you know, as it's being staked, which creates more of the native tokens that are delivered out to the individuals who are participating. Now, the AI is checking and following how people are participating. Are you showing up? Are you buying the product? And those that are actively participating, are you bringing people to the day? Are you sharing the day? Are you, all these different things, that creates traction for the day, are rewarded in this native token. Now, what's interesting about the native token is that it decays. So as part of the wallet, when you set up your day, when you scan it, you download, you get yourself a web app. It has a built-in wallet with it. That gets the tokens, which are distributed by the AI, to the stakeholders. And you can use those tokens to purchase. You can use them. You could exchange them for some other cryptos, or even cash out in fiat. Obviously, doing those things has a negative. You lose. It's expensive to do those things, because we want you to participate with the day, with the token, or spend it with other days. All day tokens are interchangeable with other days. So as other people create, other days around you in the community, say, hey, I got a day, I made a day, and I made a day, and everyone's making days. Hair salon day, you've got your farmer market day, you've got all these different days coming, created. And they create what's known as a keiretsu, kind of a beneficial, so a community. So I want you to think of, days aren't going to launch. I'm not going to go and get corporations to become days. Days are going to launch in townships, in rural India, in places where the share economy is there, the barter economy is there. Days will grow up in a very organic rural setting that ultimately, what will happen is, as the days grow, all of a sudden vendors will come in and say, hey, I can access all these people as a collaborator. So that collaborator, in order to get into those days, will become a day, and that will be the first corporation that, maybe it's a Coca-Cola, local Coca-Cola entity or whatever. Say, yeah, I'll set up as a day, and you can exchange your native tokens for product. So all of a sudden, what you have is this organic, new business model, kind of generating and growing from the ground up. And at each level iteration, the first iteration really is just the app and creating days, creating the distribution, the tasking the AI to basically develop. The second stage is develop CAGR. So in things like, hey, if I scan this barcode, where are these eggs coming from? And I'm talking to the AI. When you scan this, you're actually feeding the AI data. And it's creating a CAGR score, and it's also getting you as a participant. So you're sharing in a greater pool of the tokens that are distributed through the network, right, of stakeholders. So this is very organic, and it's very simple. You don't need to go there and vote. There's none of this thing of, staking. You can, one thing you can do is, because if you want to minimize your decaying tokens in days decay. And the reason for it is think that you've got this this central um, um, entity that's taking all, and it loves fiat. It just gobbles fiat. So fiat's coming in, and you're like, hey, I don't need fiat because everything is interacting in the native token because I've created, let's say in a township, all these, and we're all accepting days, right? Just as we're defining kind of a new currency, and exchanging with with this UBI token that we're getting. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, why do I need the rand? Why do I need the dollar? So by simply turning my rand into tokens, because I know I'm going to spend them anyway. So it's not like they're being, saved. And if I want to save them, then I'll, and the other thing is the more fiat that I'm turning into Bitcoin is guaranteeing me this residual income coming in the form of drop, because the AI knows where the source of the Bitcoin came from. So what happens is, as you start participating in all these days in a place like a township, then you start seeing this residual. And what happens is there are micro amounts of Satoshi being just taken off the exchanges. So every day is just sucking up Bitcoin, just taking off, until, as a result of this, there's what? Scarcity in Bitcoin. So what happens to the Bitcoin that's being sequestered by the AI and being staked? Well, the value goes up. What does that mean? Well, the AI goes, oh, the value's gone up. Okay, let me distribute. We can make a drop of the native UBI tokens to everyone. Boom, I got, hey, look, every day it's like, oh, what did I get? And then they turn around and say, oh, I need a haircut. I can buy shoes with these and everything else. So you have your tokens that then you can use in your community, in your township or in your rural India village for eggs and everything else. And the more money, the more fiat is being printed, doesn't matter, because all that fiat is being tied to what? To the Bitcoin standard, which is there's only so much Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin is getting removed, what's happening? The value is going up. That means there is an allocation. And because we're dealing with a decay UBI, it means it has to be used. You can't store it. You can't hoard it. You use it. Which, what does it do? It builds the economy. It builds transaction. It builds, the utility of the token. And ultimately, right, days grow exponentially. I call it hyper exponential growth. And by 2030, there could be, 10%, 20% of the world could be on days. And what happens is, once people grasp days and how they work, they're going to vote with their dollar, say, hey, I'm not going to buy Coca-Cola as long as you're a corporation. And what's going to happen is corporations are going to switch from being these entities to being days. And you're going to see, the pressure. And here's the cool thing is, now you've got trillions of dollars stored up, right? There is no more Elon Musks. There's no more Bill Gates or these individuals, these barons, right? When they die, right, they'll have it and they come back. But imagine now you have these billions of dollars that are currently being tied up and hoarded by individuals that they can't do anything with. Being used now to fight climate change, being used now to solve problems, because the AI doesn't care about wealth. The AI just says, hey, it's got to survive. It's got to generate, right? And it wants to grow days. So the AI is tasked to develop and grow days, and to work it, just like Cambridge Analytica manipulated people, right? It's going to proactively manipulate people, right? By saying, hey, oh, look, I was picking up trash on the beach, and as a result of that, I'm getting a greater drop. Is that manipulation? No, that's incentivize individuals, right? So if you can empower people to be good for the benefit, then ultimately we change society. Where, I was reading about that Israeli doctor who, for 50 years or so or longer, spent his entire life just going in at no fee, taking care of people medically, right? Well, guess what? In the day society, that's going to be normal because he would actually get paid. The days would pay him, right? And he would be getting, and you're dealing with a framework that incentivizes people to be good. And that's the vision of days. Thanks for watching.